There's no one who has a greater connection to the Most High than me. Do you understand that? Mr. Gino Jennings, I noticed recently you put a video up. It was thumbnailed, "If I do crack, don't follow me." Mr. Gino Jennings, let me remind you of something. One thing you don't like to talk about is where you are. You don't like to talk about where you are because your ass doesn't know who you are. All you know is that you have a proclivity for weakness and strength. And sir, unfortunately for you, you don't know what the line that separates strength and weakness is, nor do you know where it exists in this interdimensional space called the Matrix. You have no awareness of the reality of this electrochemical space, interdimensional space you're in. Sir, Keiko is not the only chemical that I will ever do in my life. This electrochemical temporal moment, as well as the temporal produce that the sun and the rain and the natural evolutionary processes produce, they're all meant here for a specific purpose. Sir, I'm more of a scientist than someone who is defined by feelings and emotions so much as you may be. It seems with all the screaming you like to do, now that you know as well as your friends who's around, who's on the playing field with you. The good thing about any negative chemical I may have used in the past is that today I don't have a desire to indulge in those things, and I haven't been either, as I stated in the last video. Cowards. Spineless ones, weak ones. Now listen to me. I have more regard for this earth. I have more regard for the lives I take care of. I have more regard for the gift I have been given, an opportunity to participate in. I am not here to be left with you and your confusion. You got me? Therefore, I advance in reverse as much as possible. I may have given you the idea that I am broken and suffering to such a great degree, and none of that is true, and none of it has been true. Okay? The choices I make today are choices that do not disrupt the connection that I sustain and that is bequeathed to me from the Most High. By anything. This connection is one that will remain. You understand me? Sir, ma'am. Now, I don't want to have to roast your asses. A few of my friends tell me just to go ahead and lay it into you and rip your ass to shreds with my mouth. However, I've already told you what you're doing wrong. This purpose in my life is a lot bigger I'm not even going to say excuse me. This purpose in my life is a lot bigger than me having some party and destroying myself and running around with some lame duck who's strung out and looking for a goddamn anchor, especially one that begins and ends like the pile of money in your pocket. Which reminds me, I need to remind you that this purpose of mine is one that you will bow down to, because it's the end of your little charade, and it's the end of all your dreams and delusions to keep your family and your community and the world's communities in chaos. This is a time where you can, with the likes of myself and others who realize we've made huge mistakes, to find better ways to do things. Right now, there is no time. It's done. It really is. And I don't think you understand. I think your ass needs to have a little more of a kick in the pants. That's what I'm thinking. Because you know, your video uploads over the last few weeks, they've been being very observed. We've been observing your video uploads. And your video uploads, did they make you enough money? Did they? All of you individuals in the Islamic front, and for every genre of your reality audience, folks who aren't gatekeepers, there is an individual who is literally placed on a platform so as to make sure that if the truth does arise, they get to hit it with a baseball bat and knock it out of the park by changing the narrative, changing the truth, putting a twist on it that fits and suits. Guess what? The further destruction of this planet, this matrix program, to which now I am electromagnetically aligned with, to the highest degree that one could be. And working on the last little 16th of a millisecond of it. However, until you and I are one in conscious awareness, you and I are literally about to experience, audience, some serious, confusing, situational programming acts that are going to be played out in front of us, similar to the ones that are being played out all over the world. The terrorist attacks, hey, you got to hate these people and you should hate these people. And this is how these individuals have sustained a low vibrational electromagnetic field. They've gotten you to turn on each other and literally have told you, not only, now listen, between you and them, there's a line, right? It's one that was created by what? Your programming, okay? Check it out. These individuals have literally, on every level, kept you divided by placing inputs, mediums, that with the chaos content creators, no differently than anyone you could see in politics, Now, these individuals are all well invested. They get to be a part of the stock market. You're well aware that these individuals control the military industrial complex that you and I are fully adopted to. Okay? You and I are, for the most part, only concerned about social justice. We don't give a shit about the environment. There is no environmental justice. And unfortunately, because these people know that it's an end, that it's the end of days, okay, through the truth coming out, for these individuals to have an opportunity to put a masquerade on as if they are helping the environment, when in fact the reality is they're literally destroying it on purpose, because they know it is over. They cannot do that anymore because they choose to, and they believe that their guns and their military might is all that's necessary to keep you, stung and traumatized and weak. Well, the reality is that they know that this moment don't belong to them. And if it did, I wouldn't be here right now. Now, would I, TD Jakes, huh? Would I? No. And I dare one of you to come and try to arrest me. I'm going to go with you. Got it? I've been to jail before. Come on and get me. But my friends don't like me being fucked with. I think I've told every one of you this. And because of the magnitude of my purpose, you might as well say goodbye to everybody you know once that takes place. Any of you walking. It doesn't matter whether you've known me for 52 years. When you want to drop something in a bottle of water, or, whether it doesn't matter what you want to do. Hit me in the head with a 50 cal. Do what you want. I'm out of my body and in my body at the same time, simultaneously. This is an interdimensional space. Let me be clear. I don't have fear, like you do, of the guns and the bullets. I see well beyond what you and I have been trained and programmed by these buffoons to see and perceive. Well beyond. Spice, what are you doing? Spicy wants to say hello, and I'll do that. And I want to look at my camera. Say hello, Spice. Say hi, buddy. All right, now get back to what you were doing. I don't really believe that there are many of you who totally want to stand against what is best for us. I don't believe there are many of you who are truly willing to take a chance on betting that I'm failing. Because, ladies and gentlemen, my greatest moment of weakness took place maybe 4 months ago. And just a month ago, maybe a month and a week, there was an amazing miracle that took place between myself and, of course, Mr. Lance Kerb, the gatekeeper in Ghana. Now, of course, isn't it funny that Ghana has finally decided that you cannot travel there if you don't have the shot? But any of the citizens in Ghana, they can walk around without a shot. Now, it's good that they don't have the shot. And make sure that all of these individuals attempting to lock you down into the military-industrial complex realize that the truth is here and you're going to stand by it. It doesn't matter if you fully understand me yet or not. Soon, you will have a greater understanding of who you are, where you are, why you are, what you are, and when you are. And at that moment, you will ignite a passion for truth and life. And the angels are here, and they're not playing with any of us. Now, folks, I was not prepared for this moment. I can assure you, this is very, very alarming. Because I know that mine eyes are soon to see things that they've never seen before, as well as yours. And most of it is not going to be things you're going to be happy with, things you're going to be pleased with. How do I know this? Because, folks, I would not call myself the guided one if I didn't know the direction you and I are headed. Now, why is it so difficult for you and I to see the signs? Why is it difficult for you and I to see the reality that the world that we have been taught we all live in, it's not what we've been told it is? And why is it that we now find that a majority of individuals of every bloodline are comfortable with being aligned with an agenda, a transgenerational agenda, where they pass down a torch to families who are not only programmed, but the head of the program, just like I was, to be bloodthirsty, to take it to such a degree that adrenochrome is a chemical, Mr. Geno Jennings, that they ingest out of a suffering, tortured child, or a man or woman. And this is something that you are aware of, Mr. Jennings, and have been aware of, Mr. Jakes, and all of you others, psychopaths and sociopaths, who call yourselves religious teachers and leaders, who can't take your people out of the confusion they're in because you are not allowed to go against the code of such wickedness. And you want to tell me that standing up and being a true man, taking a true righteous path, is something that the rest of your parishioners shouldn't pay attention to. And I wonder if you ever think about the reality that the angels are right now paying attention to every thought you have and listening to your guidance and your suggestions on where your parishioners should keep their focus. And do you know that they're aware that you're literally going against the biblical code, the Islamic code? Are you aware of that, Mr. Prosperity? Do you know, gatekeepers, that when you take the knowledge that I give you and you attempt to hold the reins of the false time narrative, the false reality narrative, the false evolutionary narrative over the people, with the manipulated narrative that you generate, do you know that as a result, everything will fall apart for you? Are you aware of that? You're not. Well, now you are. Everything that I say comes true. And I don't mean to bring you to your knees, but I need you to know that before you truly get to your knees. Because you ain't there yet, but soon you will be. You don't have a problem with misleading your audiences. You don't have a problem with siding with suffering that is so grave and abusive, where the waters, the seas are poisoned as a result of your desire to want a vacation and drive around with your brand new gas-powered car and your leather seats and with your leather boots on, with your leather tassels and your leather everything. Your lion skin sitting in your living room on the floor. You who will influence an individual to remain third eye blind and in a state of confusion that is so oppressive, where to get home and to find some peace after work, without having to think about, oh, the boss gave me a raise, oh, I just got a bonus, oh, I just got a $1,500 check that ain't worth shit. Without even having to think about that. Those days are over. It's time for the winds to blow, by the way. Mark my words. Just so that you can see them suffer as a result of all the damage that's been brought to this planet. While you and I have been under the control of individuals who have no control, who are literally out of control of control. Even when I was freaking out of control, I was in control. I've never been one to be reckless partying, just totally out of my mind. I was a reckless kid. I was a tormented reckless kid. I was led to be reckless just as much as I was reckless. Forced, pressured by negative forces. But I'll tell you what, I didn't turn out to be a scumbag. Well, yes, I did, to some degree. I can't tell you a lie. We all do. We all have. In this divided, I'm a lost child of Israel state, the only thing you and I can expect from each other is disappointment. And whether or not you're a white man or a white woman who are fail-safe protocols opposing, counterbalancing this magnetically misaligned frequency existing in my brothers and sisters, to whom I'm also a part of, and you're connected to through me, it matters not. You know why? It matters not because you go, when it comes to your frequency of conscious awareness and electromagnetic potential, you go from middle to low, okay? That means 50 shades of gray all the way to black. they're magnetically misaligned. My Asian, Arab, Indian, Arab, fail-safe protocol, bloodline brothers and sisters. However, their frequency vibrates naturally and is about to open wide open to its natural standard. From gray to light. Okay? And that gray, the bottom of that gray would exist in the frequency, the sixth sensory awareness of the melanated woman. Now she exists within the genetics of the melanated man. And of course, that energy that it is vibrating within that frequency now exists being counterbalanced by the European man, to whom's gene pool also carries the frequency of the European woman. And the same thing vice versa with all other bloodlines that exist. That exist as fail-safe protocols. Starting with the Arabs. First ones that we African brothers and sisters had an opportunity to be interrupted by, as far as I know, years ago. Many, many reincarnations ago. Excuse me. The European male and female vibrate with 5 sensory and 4 sensory. They vibrate between 5 and 4. The black male and the black female vibrate between 6 and 7. The animal kingdom vibrates with several different frequencies. And many of these frequencies of conscious awareness, of course, they all contribute, well, all of these frequencies contribute to sustaining the balance of electromagnetic forces that exists under humanity and fabric throughout the animal kingdom, the insect kingdom, and the vegetable kingdom, and the fruit and vegetable kingdom, and the flora and fauna, I should say. All the way down to the electrons and the protons that make up the atomic structure of the the Earth's mantle and the iron core of our planet, the molten core of it. And although you did come as a fail-safe protocol to rebalance the magnetically misaligned frequency within us, black men and women, by pressure, by the pressure of your yin and yang, that means in control, out of control state of awareness, amplified by the sixth sensory awareness of the melanated woman, and of course the melanated man for the white woman. Your reign, your ability, having the ability over the past few hundred generations as the Gentile spirited nations, started in, of course, we melanated people, when we decided to go from 7 sensory awareness to 6. And by the way, watch the Prince video. Oh, 7, and we'll watch them fall. They stand in the way of love, and we will smoke them all with your intellect. That means the mechanical mind. The one that wants to take you to a robotic existence. And your savoir-faire, no one in the whole universe can never compare. I am yours and now you are mine, and together we'll spell through love through all space and time, so don't cry. One day all 7 will die. And who are they? The fail-safe protocol bloodlines who were sent here to create enough negative pressure by destroying the environment, by causing depression, by breaking hearts from generation to generation of those who have an immortal code. Those who have an immortal code, they vibrate within the yang frequency of conscious electromagnetic awareness that exists in humanity. That would be existing in the mind or the ferromagnetic bloodstream of you, brothers and sisters. Well, the bloodlines that have come to rebalance us have finally done their job, and I am the result of it. The negative pressure has driven me to the point where my immortality is all that matters. And I'm not talking about the being that, of course, exists here, automating this body, moving my fingers around and turning my head on swivel. I'm talking about the spirit that I am, that exists in the interdimensional multi-frequency matrix program that, of course, is our lowest electrochemical magnetic 3-divisional trinity division, or a 3-divisional trinity radio frequency spectrum division. So therefore, my fight is no longer, as I've said, for some meager check so that I can sustain a insecure existence where I'm constantly looking in the mirror, checking on my progress.